Hello everybody, your favourite Spartan here, welcome back to a brand new video, and today we are simply going to be reviewing our Resident Evil 4 playthrough and my thoughts on the game overall. I'm just going to do a rundown of probably gameplay, audio, graphics, things like that, you know, like what I've done in the past, and yeah, we're just going to jump straight into it. I hope you all enjoy. So, my first thing is going to be the overall impression, what I've got from the game. I thought what they did was amazing, quite frankly. I've played Resident Evil 4, the original, to death. Like, I knew it like the back of my hand, and I was really worried going into it. It was just going to be exactly the same. A bit like the Dead Space remake, that was pretty much the same. I don't really think anything changed overall, except for like the art style, you know, all that stuff. But this, they literally changed the game, and like most remakes don't dare to do that. Like, it was a new game essentially, just with the same name. I thought that was amazing. Like what they did with the story, and they flushed more characters out. People had more use, which we'll get into in a minute without spoilers. Everybody seemed to fit more neatly into it, and it made sense. That's what I thought of the overall game. I just thought it was amazing. It was amazingly built from the ground up. It was just perfect for me. So gameplay wise, once again, I had no problems. I thought it was fluid and responsive, and I didn't really have any issues. I don't think I'm useless. I was. I'm a lot better now. I've played it a couple of times, but yeah, I was horrific. I just could not get used to it for some reason. But I really enjoyed it. I thought, you know, the sort of when you get damaged, it was a reflection on your mistakes and not necessarily the game just being bad. Like some games, you know, you get hit and probably didn't get hit on screen, but you get damaged anyway. But this was just like, if I made a mistake, I got penalised for it. Basically, I got punished, which is good because then you know not to make that mistake again, which doesn't apply to me apparently because I kept doing it over and over again. But yeah, that's a different story. But yeah, the gameplay overall, like just the way every enemy was and meticulously placed, and how they all attacked you in like groups. Like there wasn't just like 1, 2, 3, like cannon fodder. It was like 3 or 4 at a time. You know, like in like droves or in like different waves, and you know it had its quiet moments where there was just the odd ones scattered about. I also didn't encounter any glitches whatsoever in my playthrough, which is quite funny because I've literally just started a new playthrough and there's already some glitches, so I think I just got really lucky on my playthrough and just had no issues whatsoever. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and the glitches aren't bad. It's just like see-through walls and things like that. It's a bit weird to see, but it's not game breaking. I only struggled on a couple of boss fights, I think it was, in the later stages of the game. I'm not going to spoil what they are just in case. The game I thought was amazing, and the scares were really good, to be fair. Like, I didn't think it was going to be an overly scary game because I don't think the original was like really scary because of different perspective, but it was really, you know, a good few moments. It really scared me, and I'm sure there's a really good compilation of it somewhere that I'm working on. But yeah, it's a really good game to play. It's so worth it. Leon's like overall style, he seems more tactical. Like he's not just a random bloke in there now. He's got training, and it sort of shows. You know, like you can reserve one bullet. Like you would not, normal people probably wouldn't think to do that, but he, you know, he can do that. It's you know, he in quiet sections he just checks his ammo and like make sure his guns are working all right and make sure everything's reloaded. You know, it's just things like that. It just seems real and like he's had proper will training sort of thing. As it, you know, in the beginning of the game, it sort of as a montage of sort of what he's been up to since the last game where he was in, like background storytelling of what's happened, and I really enjoyed that. The dismemberment of this game, because obviously you got the plaga inside, it's like when you shoot them and sort of dismember the parts of the body, like the head, the torso, oh mate, I can still see it in my head. It's like the tendrils of the plaga that's been severed are still alive even though the bloke's dead, and they're just like, oh mate, it was horrific. The first time I saw that, mate, it was, oh, dude, it was bad. It is so detailed. It's just one of those details you think, like, wow, well done. You didn't need to do that, and you did it. And it really just elevates it slightly more, you know. Audio-wise, the game sounded amazing. You know, they've put so much more effort into the voice lines for every character. Everybody speaks more, and it's more natural. Leon still has his stupid one-liners, which some of them work, some of them really don't. But I think that's just a quirk of a Resident Evil game, quite frankly. I think they all just have that. I think that's just what makes them them. Everybody just spoke better. You know what I mean? Like, the cutscenes were really in-depth. Like, they felt like real people having a real conversation, not like two characters in the game. It was back and forth, and in quiet sections, Ashley and Leon would like be chatting, you know, about all the madness just going on. So it all just felt more of a real world scenario than you could, you know, I'm just playing a video game. It's like, oh, this is actually happening, sort of thing. So yeah, the voice acting was really good. A couple of the voice actors, the new voice actors, I wasn't keen on, but I think that's just because I'm nostalgic for Resident Evil, the original Resident Evil 4. I think, you know, I've just played it so much, that's just what I hear. The sounds of like the weapons and explosions and all the monsters, you know, it all just worked perfectly. And it's also got a really nice background sound to it, you know, like the wind and the rain and thunder in some cases. You know, it all just worked perfectly to a point where you don't really even recognize what the game's doing. It's only that when you decide to tune in, you think, oh wow, like, you know, that's really cool. Graphics wise, I thought it looked like a fairly good modern day shooter. You know, it wasn't breaking any new molds, you know, like an Unreal Engine kind of game. But yeah, it was massively different to the new one, and it looked amazing compared to, you know, it stands up against other modern day shooters that are coming out now. I had no pop-ins, no glitching, like I said, until now. You know, everything you could see quite far, like render distance wise, and it's quite detailed, to be fair. From what you know, the parts when I was looking, it was quite detailed, and like the amount of effort the artists have gone into to just make each area feel lived in and alive. I'm just going to briefly touch on the story. No spoilers, right? But without obviously going into spoiler territory, what they've done with sort of the restructure of the story and how things work, and they've took out like the completely absurd stuff. You know, I mean, the old games, you know, some of the things in that game were like, why is this happening? You know, even for a cult that are left alone with all this money, resources and whatever, why are they choosing to do this for this one specific reason that may or may not happen, and it just happens to have happened? Like, it doesn't make sense. I'm really happy that they cut all that sort of stuff out. Like, it just worked so much better. It was so much more believable. Some things you still think, why would anybody have that? Why would they do it like this? Like, you know, having to put this thing here to go in this room, it doesn't, you know. But maybe that's just me. Obviously, it's for gameplay. You gotta have a bit of fun and exploration. It's a Resident Evil game. So yeah, overall, I'm going to have to give it a 10. It was perfect. It's everything I wanted a Resident Evil 4 remake to be, and a hell of a lot more. It was incredible. It really was. It was so fun, and I'm playing it over now to get all the achievements up. I think my final game time was like 5-6 hours, something like that. So it's quite a short game. I mean, it always was, but obviously once you get exploring everything, trying to find every nook and cranny and whatnot, it just goes. I think my playthrough at the minute is like nearly 6 hours. I'm just at the about the halfway point. So yeah, really, you know, once you start getting in, and the game opens up after you finish it, that's when the actual game properly starts. You know, you get all the unlocks, and the more times you play it, then think, oh, I can now do this part of the game, you know, and things just open up, and it just becomes so much better. Yeah, you've got to pick it up. It's so worth it. It's perfect. Honestly, it's I can't say enough good things about it. It just made me so happy to play, and I had a really good response on the channel about it. So I really am appreciated of that. So yeah, that was Resident Evil 4 review. I hope it was somewhat informative and not a bunch of ramble. The next video is very special, guys. You will love it. It's an unboxing of not one, but two. That's three. Two special limited edition Xbox products. I know not everybody's an Xbox fan, whatever, but you know, it's what I mainly play on. So yeah, they're sold out in a lot of places, and I managed to get one of each. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope you all are. And I've picked my next playthrough game. I'm keeping it a secret for now. I might reveal it in the next episode. But yeah, other than that, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please consider having a look around the rest of the channel. It really does mean a lot. And if you do find something you like, please subscribe. It means a world to me. And I hope to see everybody in the next one. Goodbye, guys.